Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Last week, if some of you were here, you saw I did a speech on Trumponomics, which is Trump's economic policies. Today, I'm going to do something similar, but maybe related. I'm just going to go back over the last few presidents real quick and kind of see where we're headed, where we're at. So we all remember when George W. Bush won the election in 2000. Some of us voted for Gore, some for Bush, but he won. Very close, but he won, and we thought, well, it's another businessman, his father's president, blah, blah, blah. It's probably lame, but we'll see what happens. And then, 9/11, bam! 2 planes smashed into World Trade Centers. And all of a sudden, everything has changed for our country and for George W. Bush. Who remembers some of the things in those 8 years of George Bush? Does anything come into your mind when you think of his presidency? Anyone?
Tax cuts.
Tax cuts. That's the business side and tax cuts. Some of the things I was thinking of were suicide bombings. Does anyone remember after we went to Iraq? I remember at work telling a coworker who was Muslim, but I was kind of joking with him. There was another suicide bombing, and I was like, 4 more American soldiers were killed. But it was like, every day were suicide bombings in Iraq. Not just our soldiers, Iraqi civilians, 50, 100. It was every day. I was like, this is horrible. Anyway, the Bush years finished, and maybe they weren't cracked up. They didn't turn out as we expected. The next president, 8 years later, was Barack Obama, who was finishing up his 8-year term. I remember watching him speak, I think at the 2004 Democratic Convention, a young Barack Obama as senator, and he was like, I'm going to get the blue states together, and I'm going to get the red states together, I'm going to bring everyone together. He had all this energy and enthusiasm, and I remember watching, I think I was with my mom, and I was like, this guy is a kid, but he seems pretty good, you know? Anyway, 4 years later, Obama was elected president. What pops into your head, Tim, the last 8 years? Anything stick out of what we've experienced with President Obama?
Differences of opinion.
Differences of opinion. And?
Obamacare.
Obamacare. Michelle, anything?
I was going to say Obamacare. Sorry.
Obamacare. Some of the things that come to my mind, maybe more recently, were Black Lives Matter. We had protests for the past few years because of shootings. Lots of young kids, black kids, and white kids too, young people and older people protesting about police brutality. One other thing that pops in my head is it seemed like we had a lot of mass shootings, didn't it? Now, Anne was making fun of me earlier in the night that I'm always pointing out the negative, but I can't help it. It's my Jewish mother. She did this to me. But it seemed like we had a lot of mass shootings. But overall, the economy was good. But I think in general, most people that would say, especially those that voted for Obama, they probably expected more and thought things would be a little better. Which brings us to 2016, Donald J. Trump. In my last speech, I talked about Trumponomics. He's a businessman. A lot of people think he could turn this economy around with some of his programs. The stock market has hit new highs. The consumer confidence level came out a few days ago. It's at its highest level in 5 or 6 years. So some people are pretty excited about Trump. But what can we really expect? We've had an election. It was a pretty difficult election, I must say. I was talking to my brother the other night, who is no fan of Trump, and he's one of the 10 or 20% of people that will never accept him as president. No matter what he does, he will not accept Trump. And when we think about a lot of the stuff that happened during the election where he offended a lot of people, I mean, let's face it, religious groups and ethnic communities, one has to think about what is expected of Trump and what can he really do? After such a divisive campaign, is he really going to be able to bring the country together and really unite behind him and turn the economy around? Myself, I tend to wonder maybe not. At the same time, I'm willing to give him a chance. I'm willing to give him my support. Even though he did have 4 hotel casinos that bankrupt. Let's face it, we all make mistakes, maybe not that many. But he did rise like a phoenix or sphinx or whatever you want to call it. He rose from the dead, he turned it around, and he won the presidency. Maybe a man that can do that can actually turn things around and make America great. But in closing, friends, the last month or so, everything seems smooth. It's kind of been a honeymoon for Trump, as I say. The stock market is hitting highs. Most people feel good. And everything seems rather calm. But look what's happened in the past 16 years. Can we really expect things to go smoothly for the next 8 years? Or is it possible this just could be calm for the sea? Thank you.